Hey, wonderful teachers, it's time for another Buzz Tip of the Week. I wanted to talk to you about the first day of class with a new student and setting up the gradebook and what the charting looks like for a brand new class that you're starting. Whether you've taught this class before with other students or this is a brand new class that you've never taught before. So a really good rule of thumb what to do is don't want to do too much planning ahead for this. You kind of want to reserve this first session to just get to know the students. Regardless of what it says in here in the session folder here, you want to make sure that you start developing that relationship with your student right away. And part of that is taking that time in the first class to get to know them and they get to know you. And not only that, but then also to set up the grade book. If you don't set it up beforehand, it's a perfect time to do it in class with the student. So you just go to course settings. A lot of times I'll set the grade book up ahead of time, but then when I'm sitting in class in that first class with the student, then I talk about what I did. And if they're okay with that, or if they feel that they need something a little bit more, something different from the grade book for that particular class. So talk with them, make sure that everything is good as far as the grade book, get to know them and their learning style. That can also help you set up the grade book, but setting up that grade book is very important because if you get halfway through the class and you've got 8-10 assignments in there to grade, and then you realize that the grade book wasn't set up and everything is weighted wrong and worth the wrong number of points. It's not going to be a very fun time having to redo all of that stuff. So do it during this first class, and that way it is all done, ready to go. Another thing you might want to do with your student on that first day is have them pick a picture for your specific class. It usually helps them to find that class a little bit sooner in Buzz, and also might help you, especially if you're a visual person. But then it's also like that it is their class, so they help set up the grade book. They get to select the photo and they get to change the color. All of that is right here under course settings. So if there's currently a photo, you would just trash it and then get the new one off your computer. I usually have the students select one. And, now that we have to be social distancing and with virtual teaching, I usually have them email it to me, and then I download it to my computer, and then I just select it and upload it here. And then for color, you would just click on here and you ask them what color they want. If they say green, then you go into the greens and say you want more yellow or more blue or just green. And, they'll tell you, they'll let you know. So, and then they can look on their Buzz homepage and be like, yeah, that's great. So that's kind of going through the course settings and going through that little bit of fun stuff. Even though the gradebook's not fun, the students will appreciate you doing that with them. And you still want to have, a content piece in there. So I usually just, pull that content piece over from my library, put it here, and there wouldn't be any project works yet because it's the first class. We're not doing anything. And the discussion, it's simply going to be set up the grade book, get to know each other, photo and color change for Buzz. So that type of stuff. And if you have time left over, then you can start hitting, some of the ideas and the concepts for that first unit. Like I said, though, I usually kind of just prefer to leave it all pretty informal that first day. At most they might do some drawing, or they will, a lot of times, especially art class, they'll bring in images on their phone and they'll show them to me. So, or if we're virtual, they will put them in chat and I can take a look at them that way. So If you're going to use participation or classwork, this is a good time to set up the rubric. Again, I always have the student do that with me. We go through it. I have a basic one that has the 3 elements that most every student wants on their rubric. They want to make sure that they are getting a good use of their time in class to work on the project. So when I give them time in class to work on it, that they're using it effectively. You know, some students get distracted easily and they're trying to work on not getting distracted. So they want that on their rubric. The critical thinking, so that they're always thinking about the project and what elements they want to put in that, and what kind of composition they want to have with that as well. So, and they usually want that one too. And then the discussion, this one I kind of have on there for myself as well. Because when we talk about the artwork, it's like a mini critique. So that way they can get my feedback, and then I can get their thoughts about what they're trying to do, and that just gives me more information on how I can help them. So if you regularly have a discussion in class with your student, you know, this might be one, you know, if they're a little bit more difficult to come out with discussing ideas and brainstorming, you know, maybe they want to work on that. So that's how you would do that. So you just want to make sure that you're setting the rubrics up with the students. And then also the project rubrics or homework rubrics, you want to make sure that you're setting up with them as well. So, and then if you happen to cover any content, make sure that you are pulling the student ability over as you are covering them, because you don't want to get to the end of the class. And I know some of those classes out there for history and probably for English and math and science, you've got a whole lot of abilities to cover. So you want to make sure that you're pulling them over as you do them, because otherwise it's just going to get piled up at the end, and then you've got a whole bunch of abilities that you have to take care of before you can submit the final grade. So, and then make sure you go to Genius and you do the narrative home, and then double check the grade book to make sure all the grades have been entered so far. Like if you've just filled out, you know, your classwork or participation one, you're going to have to go in and grade that one. So, but that is pretty much it for the first day. Just making sure that the student understands everything about the course and how it is going to look for the semester. If you have questions or if you need support, just let me know. Happy charting!